Dear guests and online museum visitors, let me welcome you at the Museums of Pécs. Our institution's name is Janus Pannelis Museum, and we have like 14 exhibitions. This event originally supposed to take place in an exhibition like the Modern Hungarian Gallery, but I was asked to move it online because of the pandemic. Since we can't see each other and meet in person, and give you hands-on activities, guided tours, I'm planning to talk about our running project. This running project is very important for us and is capable to reach out for a wider audience like adults and university students. The Janus Pannelis Museum, again our museum, has projects for schools and other groups, and all these projects shows that the museum takes an interest in the world around us, tries to reflect and explore the present, not just representing the past. We try to develop creativity and strengthen creative thinking. As you can see on the slideshow already, our events and programs are very visitor focused, and actually after the pandemic it wasn't easy to organize programs such as roundtable talks and creative family events. And actually we are not after the pandemic, we are between the pandemic maybe. So this is why our presentation is now online. At our projects, we utilize the potential of modern art, modern and contemporary fine and applied art and architecture. We offer opportunity and give inspiration for creativity across generations. This unique contribution's aim is to rethinking museum collections, and not just the artworks and objects themselves, but the connecting cultural heritage as well. This summer, our events and programs, just like the Vasari Roundtable talk, which topic was the space research and space race because of the Gagarin anniversary, show that we try to interpret our exhibition in a special and unique way. This year, the Applied and Fine Art Department of our museum, in collaboration with the Educational Department, including adult education as well, has a running project called Op Art Academy. This Op Art Academy invited 40 university students and several professors in our city, Pécs, and not just in our city, but in our collections as well. First step was that one of the university, which is called Metropolitan University of Budapest, was our first step in this Op Art Academy project. The Metropolitan University Budapest, which is called METU, with its craft subject culture and fashion specialization, with master fashion designers joined the project. The two institutions, our museum and METU, came together first with a successfully presented project, a fashion show in 2019. There was an event which we called Bauhaus Party, and it took place in the Modern Hungarian Gallery in 2019. You can see the pictures of colored shadows and all kinds of dresses. At that time, our museum had an exhibition, Weininger Andor exhibition, in the Modern Hungarian Gallery in Pécs, and which exhibition moved to Budapest as well, to the Gallery of Virág Judit. That event was very special, with concerts, guided tours, some catering, wine tasting, and fashion show. Wanted to continue this contribution and move to another collection of our museum, to the Vasari Museum. The Vasari Foundation in France is one of the main partners of the Janus Pannonius Museum, including the 10th anniversary of the twinning relationship between the cities of Pécs and Aix-en-Provence, so that the Vasari exhibition of both cities can play a similar role. We planning exhibition based on the international collection of Vasarely exhibition and based on the university faculties artworks. So in 2022, hopefully our modern Hungarian gallery is able to open exhibition on university students' works. These university students are architects, photographers, media designers, and fashion designers. So a very colorful and wide range of artworks is in the show. So back to this Opart Academy. What it means. If you see on the slideshow creative works like an Opart installation, if you see on the slideshow, you can see a very colorful installation of the local university architects, and this colorful blue and red installation is installed actually at the courtyard of the Vasari Museum itself. So with this Opart Academy's contribution, we rethink the museum collections, and if you mention Bauhaus and its Hungarian, especially local Pécs roots, it just makes sense what we are talking about this moment. Finding new ways with young adults and artists for better and fresh interpretations can help museums to reach for a larger audience and open wider the museum doors. The Bauhaus-rooted collection of our museum is the Vasari Museum. It's a special visual form, language, and message of the artist. It's very fresh and capture easily the project participants' interest. They create works of art consisting of colorful geometric patterns according to the idea of Vasari Color City. As I mentioned, we are planning opening an exhibition in 2022. Beside this exhibition, we have other plans together with university faculties. The new interpretation means we involve these faculties not just rethinking collections, but the museum spaces as well, like the gardens, the functional visitor halls as well. So the young MA architects from the Mohorina Art University and the Pécs Architect University are working on a multifunctional museum visitors hall with us. It's an imagination of a visitor hall. For just 10 years, Pécs held the title of European Capital of Culture proud, with investments and institutional development for the perspective of the Janus Pannonius Museum. However, we were unable to keep the jobs created and the project launched, and the maintenance of the buildings exceeded our potential. Within the framework of the Pécs 2010 Cultural Capital Project, the museum buildings of the museum streets were reconstructed and extended. Its gardens were parked and the related public spaces were also held. At the same time, the visitor-friendly museum services of the exhibition spaces in the museum exhibitions in Pécs, the visitors is now in a very foreign communication situation, and because we expect the visitors to have knowledge and attitude that is alien and unmotivating to people who are familiar with the today's fast information and interactivity. So the lack of interactivity, the lack of good interpretation is our problem in our exhibition. This is why we reach out for university students to rethink our visitor spaces. Thematic visitor centers, some of which have taken the cortex of museums, are the main focus of national rural development investments. This is a trend now in Hungary. This is why we involve a visitor center planning within the museum and the university work together. So at the Museum Street of Pécs, since the theme of visitor centers that are growing in our country in particular ecotourism and the preservation of built heritage, is wide. Recreational spaces based on religious and political messages, as well as sport and gastronomy, are also common. The Pécs Museum has no visitor center, so it's really very urgent to find a place and the best way to have a new visitor center. And this is why we reach out for architects of universities, and we working together on this project now. The present condition in the Vasari Museum building is not don't allow for the reception of larger groups, and it is therefore necessary to have a public space for museum and pedagogical purposes where creative work can take place without fear of artifacts. The educational space and multimedia point could also function as an informational hotspot and is located close to all exhibition spaces. So this is why we plan this visitors hall in our Museum Street Green Garden. An excellent, attractive construction could be developed, provide multifunctional and barrier-free access. And we could present it with interactive VR and AR tools. So audiovisual equipment is very necessary in our age. After school and work, a meeting point, a parking at weekends, and possibly museums may also be considered if resting and seating at some kind of popular service could also be available. This is a strategic location in the middle of the historic inner city of Pécs, the Museum Street, so where the summer stage concert and festivals taking place. One of these festivals is visible on the pictures, the Museum Street Festival, so you can imagine important could be a visitors hall for the museum. Beside the architect faculties and fashion design faculties, we have another very important line, the photography and media design. This summer, the Opart Academy was based on the photography, the art of photography, and we invited 4 universities students. 40 of them were hospitalized and with their professors, and we worked together. So the planned exhibition in 2022, in addition to the with some photo competition, we would like to present the universities participating in the Vasari program. So all of these universities together, we of course using the opportunities offered by the Erasmus program. The photo works is linked to the Vasari collection as well, which is an outstanding segment of our city artistic heritage, and more broadly, to the whole life of Victor Vasari and the visual art paradigm of the arts by his name, Opart and Kinetism. The trend of Opart, launched by Vasari in the second half of the 50s and leaving its flourishing in the 60s, explored the mode of action of optical illusion based on the means of visual rhythm and color contrast, and attempt to incite spatial and illusion with painters and graphics as a specific source of abstract geometric thinking. The trend of Opart, launched by Vasari in the second half of the 50s and leaving its flourishing in the 60s, explored the mode of action of optical illusion based on the means of visual rhythm and color contrast, and attempt to incite spatial and illusion with painters and graphics as a specific source of abstract geometric thinking. The visual arts integration of the dimension of movement is achieved by kinetic arts closely related to Opart aspirations, emerging from the experience of classical constructions of light-space movement. In a broader sense of Opart falls under the category of serial arts. We like to extend the artistic reflection that follows the progressive tradition of the work of Victor Vasari to photography. We understand that Opart and kinetic and seriographic artistic thinking are still fertile and up-to-date, and even added a new dimension in the 21st century through digital technology. We hope that our application will provide a new impulse for continuation and renewal of this tradition. So with this contribution, we try to develop visitor-friendly museum services, like the visitor hall, develop visitor-friendly museum services such as the visitor hall itself, more used museum gardens, and of course the traveling exhibition itself in 2022 The aim is to move this exhibition to Aix-en-Provence and to Budapest as well. The outdoor museum visitor space for lifelong learning, this community park with open-air classroom and garden cinema is our other aim, which is very close to Victor Vasarely's Colored City thematic. So our next step is to organize a very special fashion show in Pécs City. The new market hall, place where we organize this fashion show with Metropolitan University and Molina Art University in October. So we're crossing our fingers to have opportunity, and the pandemic let us to organize this. Not just organize the Vasarely event, the students can present their work. There is going to be music and light show and some nice catering. So this is going to be our next event. Of course, we continue the university works. So for example, photography, on-op art, architecture. So after you saw the slideshow of our colorful summer events, you can see 2 little teasers, short films. We had an exhibition already this summer based on these objects. And as I mentioned, we organized a fashion show in October. Working together, we'll end up in a nice exhibition in 2022. So our next step is that we organize fashion show with the MOME and METU universities. In the first place, visual and theoretical collection was carried out in the basis of the given source of inspiration, and the sample of form collection was carried out by selecting an en route, translating into the world of innovative and alternative material experience told us the students. On the basis of this experience, an experimental object garment was created, a simple base-shaped coat, for example. The shape was patterned on which was determined by their own material test. The single semester project involves 13 students and 2 project managers. We already had an exhibition on this summer in one of our exhibition room, and we celebrating together the partnership between Aix-en-Provence and Pécs, and this is why we organized this fashion show and try to make our best with this exhibition in 2022. Our aim is to exhibit and make the material available again for the public, and this is why we try to organize as many events as possible. So this is our second fashion show together. After the success of the Bauhaus project in 2019, would be happy to see as many visitors as possible at the event. The already made objects of clothes were amazing and totally capable to be part of a fashion show. The Molina University of Art will contribute as well with light show and other audiovisual works for a complete visual experience. Hopefully the pandemic will not affect the organization of this event in October. At the same time, we are planning to give an op art design food catering at the place. We understand that the op art and kinetic and cereological art is very up to date even now, and we hope that we can give a new dimension in the 21st century through digital technology as well. Mentioning lifelong learning, in addition to art history and historical museology, the project will mobilize museum disciplines such as museum pedagogy and andragogy, and museum marketing, and of course heritage tourism. So we try to make multilingual museum services and can implement that open the museum's doors. So cooperation between grammar schools and universities will be continue and coordinated with museum programs in the future. So let's take a closer look, and hope you enjoy these 2 teasers. If you have a little time, thank you for watching these 2 little teasers coming. The first one is about the Op Art Academy, where we work together with photographers and architects of 3 different universities. And the second one is with a 4th university, is the Metropolitan University's fashion objects. And hope you enjoy these little movies. Thank you very much for your attention.